Bryan Gaiser is an investment advisor representative of Advisory Alpha LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. All opinions expressed by Bryan Gaiser are solely his own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Advisory Alpha. This recording is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Investment advisory and financial planning services offered through Advisory Alpha LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance, coaching, and educational services offered through Gaiser Financial Group. Gaiser Financial Group is a separate and unaffiliated entity of Advisory Alpha LLC. While tax and legal services may be discussed in the general course of financial and investment planning, Advisory Alpha does not provide tax or legal services. Please consult with your tax or legal professional prior to making decisions related to these issues. This material is not endorsed or approved by the Social Security Office or any other government agency. An annuity is a long-term financial product designed largely for asset accumulation and retirement needs. All guarantees are backed by the claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. All opinions expressed by externally cited sources are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Advisory Alpha. This is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. The case studies presented reflects the specific circumstances of one client and should not be considered a guarantee that another client or potential client may experience the same or certain level of results. This is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as investment recommendations or solicitation. Names have been changed to protect the anonymity of clients and are not testimonials in nature. Learn, grow, and take charge of your retirement. This is the Wealth Through Wisdom podcast with financial advisor Bryan Gaiser, founder of Gaiser Financial Group.
One of the things I actually asked you, I said, have you and your wife sat down and watched the Leanne Morgan comedy special on Netflix yet?
We heard a little bit, but no, we have not, and I can't wait.
Every married couple, I don't care how long you've been married, what age in life you are, every married couple should watch it together. You will be hee-hawing by the end of it. She just speaks so truthfully to marriage.
So true. She
and her husband have been married for 30 years, and this is one of the conversations she brought to life in that Netflix special.
This is what we talk about all the time, the thermostat. And I'll just be honest with you, we fight. We fight about it. Well, I say that. I've beat him down. But I want to keep it on 68 because I want to live through the night. He wants to put it back up in the 70s. And sometimes he wears a half-zip golf pullover to be...
You do what you got to do to survive. I believe this is a role reversal. I am in perimenopause myself. I know what she's speaking of. And I think that for younger couples, the role is, because usually the man wants it super cold in the house. So just guys, if you're younger in marriage, know that it's coming for you when we get older.
I'm already there.
Working with couples, that's something that you do all the time. Are there different approaches, different mind perspectives very often in the conversation of what we're going to do now, how we're going to spend this money now, how to best move forward in our retirement years?
Yeah, you always, it's one or the other's always a spender.
Yeah.
And so then you got to go to the word budget.
Got it.
And that scary word,
that
hey
word.
guys. Yep, know what you're spending. Yeah. I always tell that to folks. Another thing, I don't make a dime from, but Rocket Money really works. You go through it, picks out all the things.
Is that the app or the website where?
That's the app that says you've got here's all your your debits from your account that are automatic. Are you sure you want them? And you can get rid of them at the snap of a finger, so to speak.
Got it.
And I just talked to people about that, and I said you really need to break down a budget together collectively if you want to get spending under control, because most time a spender says, well, I don't spend that much, do I? And they do. When you look at it, really just look at and review that statement every single month is really critical. And I see it on a regular basis, and that causes the most arguments. Definitely financials. All right. And then the other one's trying to save. I mean, I just dealt with a gentleman that's he's just became a client from the radio show.
Yeah.
And, he's dealing with a divorce right now because of spending. And he always was the one all about saving. She was always the one about spending. I'm not saying that it can be both ways.
That's right.
So don't anybody come break my neck. But it really boils down that was kind of the defining point where you're just too cheap, but they wouldn't have the wealth that they built if it weren't for some of the habits that he built. And you've got to really take that into... And because it can mess up a marriage, and you can still have the things you want. You just got to be smarter about spending. Yeah. And I think that's a big part of it.
Obviously, responsible spending is the name of the game. But there is a flip side to this, Bryan, because I've heard multiple conversations on various platforms, outlets, financial institutions talking about how there are a lot of people that have saved a lot of money and they die without spending the money. And that is an equally upsetting situation. If you're in the situation where for me and my husband, I think that we're pretty balanced as far as saving and spending, and I'm grateful for that, because if you're a person where you want to spend and you're working with somebody, your spouse is so clench-fisted on their money, it's like, what's the point? Why have we saved all this money?
There's a happy median there, I have a client that is worth north of $3 million.
Wow.
And the reason I bring him up, he tries to live on his Social Security. So that's a good example right there.
And what's the point? Exactly.
And it's caused him to just kind of go into a cocoon, right?
Yeah.
And he's a wonderful man, just a wonderful human being. He's single. I mean, all of his money's going to different charities that he's marked those off. And he's always wanted to open a winery, or at least work in an environment where he's helping create the wine. But he just won't take that next step and spend that penny. I'm going, you own everything you have no bills, and you're able to live comfortably on just your Social Security. Go for that winery. And if it doesn't work out and $100,000's gone, you'll make it back with 5% return, 4% return.
Right.
I think you're okay.
Yeah.
But I can't get him to take that next step. What kind of lifestyle is that? And he's a wonderful human being. I'm not knocking him in any way, form, or fashion. But my gosh, get where you need to get. Do the things. That's where surplus income. You know what? We just talked about that a little bit ago. Mm-hmm. If you have surplus guaranteed income in retirement, that means that check just keeps coming.
Yep.
That gives you more confidence that, hey, I'm going to try this. You're going to step out a little bit more, but you're not dipping into your principal. You're just spending what comes to you every month. And it's more than you need to have the lifestyle you want. Then you can feel confident that I can spend this. If I mess up, it's okay. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a big part of it. But if you let that monster go too long inside of you and allow it to grow, such as this gentleman has done, you just kind of freeze up and you do nothing.
336-586-5861. I can't say it enough. Giving yourself that permission to spend in the years ahead is the goal of this planning process. So let's get to work. 336-586-5861. Bryan, another part of the planning process that you work on with folks is how to work things out in this. We were talking about, I just said, the 5 to 10 years before retirement, taking advantage of this last stretch, as so many people look at it. We recently celebrated the Kentucky Derby. So let's bring the idea of horse racing into the conversation. That happened a few weeks back. And so many people called this the most exciting 90 seconds in sports all year. And watching that final stretch,
a lot of truth to that,
going in, that when they're all coming down that finish line, and who's it going to be, and who's going to move ahead and making moves on the field. That's what the jockeys are there to do. And when it comes to making moves, this is where you are here to help, because it's the same idea. This home stretch leading up to our retirement, we can encounter the question, what about Roths, and how do I convert? And what about a rollover from a traditional IRA to a Roth? Do it now? Do I wait? Is there a sweet spot to make this kind of move?
There is. The bottom line is, when it comes to Roth, you got to look at how much money you have. If you have $400,000 or $500,000, it's probably not as advantageous for you to have a Roth. You're better off with the write-off, sell into retirement. Take your Social Securities, create a income stream that's surplus in retirement. Make sure you have more than you need each month. That would be best for a person like that. But if you have a lot more money, and now you're a married couple about to retire, let's just assume you're both, obviously you're married, not a single person under this scenario. Well, someday one of the two spouses is going to pass away and set sail on their own little journey, right?
Right.
And leave the other spouse behind. Well, now you're a single filer and things are way more expensive. Mm-hmm. But say you retire at 67, and I had a client that did retire at 67, and he thought 72 was going to be his first RMD, but then they changed it and added the 73 in there.
Okay.
So now he's 73 this year, and he had a 6-year window where he was able to take about $30,000 a year and convert it to a Roth, very, very tax favorably.
Okay.
That's $180,000 that he's going to contribute to a Roth by converting it. In other words, taking it from your IRA that's been deferred. Mm-hmm. You take it out, you pay the taxes, and now that $30,000 is growing tax-free. Mm-hmm. All the interest is tax-free. Can't touch the interest for 5 years, but the principal's available to you.
Okay.
So that's $180,000. After 6 years, you have $350,000 in a Roth. Mm-hmm. Someday something happens to you, your spouse can fall back on that and say, oh, thank goodness he did this, because you get knocked into the tax brackets twice as fast as a single person.
Right.
And that tax-free money is going to supercharge that other person's life from the standpoint they're not just getting riddled with taxes in retirement.
Okay.
And I can give you countless stories of folks that come in, well, my husband passed away, my wife passed away, and I did not realize how high taxes will go. And I said, well, a little bit of planning and you probably could have been prepared for that.
Okay.
But we are where we are and we took it from there.
Okay.
And there's no forced distribution on the Roth. That Roth, you pick at it as you see fit. Mm-hmm. So Roth is great for growth money. I'm a big fan of growth money when it comes to Roth.
Okay.
Let's make that your growth pot. Here's your stable pot. Here's your guaranteed income that gives you more money each month than you need. That's really what it boils down to. You kind of break this down in pots. I need a stable pot. I need a growth pot.
Okay.
I need an income pot. But some people can't get to that really strong growth pot because, one, they didn't save enough. Mm-hmm. And that's why, it's very important that folks do prioritize saving while working. If you're 50 years old listening right now, please prioritize saving over spending, or find a way to make more and save that as well. I know it's tough, but you can do it. I mean, we're going to be challenged in life, and the harder it is, the more we grow. Always embrace challenge. People run from challenges. Embrace it.
Discipline now leads to freedom later. And that
Amen. You are unbelievable. You should have been a poet. You're a poet, didn't know it.
I don't know if it rhymes, but
You're great. You're great. I love it.
It definitely wasn't. These aren't my words, but when I hear something that I like to run with it myself. And I like the point you were making a minute ago about a little planning. It can go a long way. Just taking little steps, biting off a little piece at a time when it comes to your financial future. Hopefully it's going to be 20, 30, 40 years of a happy, healthy retirement. So taking some time now, those 5 to 10 years before you retire, to do the work, to accept that challenge, do a little planning so that you can have the freedom that you hope to achieve in your retirement years. Let's start this planning process for you. The number to dial right now, 336-586-5861. If you have questions, if you've heard about Roths and rollovers and conversions and you're wondering how they could work to your tax advantage in the years ahead, Bryan can show you, but we got to sit down. We got to crunch the numbers when it comes to your savings and investments. 336-586-5861. That's 336-586-5861.
Thanks for listening to the Wealth Through Wisdom podcast. To learn more, visit geiserfinancial.com. Bryan Gaiser is an investment advisor representative of Advisory Alpha LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. All opinions expressed by Bryan Gaiser are solely his own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Advisory Alpha. This recording is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Investment advisory and financial planning services offered through Advisory Alpha LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance, coaching, and educational services offered through Gaiser Financial Group. Gaiser Financial Group is a separate and unaffiliated entity of Advisory Alpha LLC. While tax and legal services may be discussed in the general course of financial and investment planning, Advisory Alpha does not provide tax or legal services. Please consult with your tax or legal professional prior to making decisions related to these issues. This material is not endorsed or approved by the Social Security Office or any other government agency. An annuity is a long-term financial product designed largely for asset accumulation and retirement needs. All guarantees are backed by the claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. All opinions expressed by externally cited sources are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Advisory Alpha. This is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. The case studies presented reflects the specific circumstances of one client and should not be considered a guarantee that another client or potential client may experience the same or certain level of results. This is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as investment recommendations or solicitation. Names have been changed to protect the anonymity of clients and are not testimonials in nature.